let's read the funniest Reddit stories. Throwing my steak out a window. Last night, my wife's boss from her brand new job invited us over for dinner. On the drive over, my wife reiterated many times to me just how important it was to make a good impression. I scoffed and arrogantly informed my silly wife that I always make good impressions. My wife's boss is a single lady in her 50s, so it's just the three of us. We chit chatted over drinks and salads and seemed to really be hitting it off. She laughed at my well timed, perfectly appropriate jokes, and my wife seemed pleased. Soon, she brought out the main course, a nice, big, juicy steak for each of us. As I began to cut into my steak, I was discouraged to discover how undercooked the steak was. Now, I've had my fair share of rare steaks. I prefer medium, but I can handle rare. Rare's better, anyways. This was several minutes on. This was several minutes on the hot grill, short of rare. I probably could have resuscitated the cow had I tried. Instead, I sat there fidgeting my knife and fork, worrying about how I was going to get away with not eating the steak. Plain veganism? No. I already had a great enthusiasm upon seeing the steak. Just then, our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at an open window of the third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive. Realizing that she could return at any moment, I committed. I grabbed the steak with my hand, gently shook off the juice, and executed a perfect throw right through the center of the open window. Here's my big time FU. The window wasn't open. It was the cleanest freaking window you've ever seen in your life. That's it. Until my mostly raw slab of steak slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare and was unaware of my predicament, turned, jaw dropped, and stared at me like I was an alien from another planet. This look then slowly morphed into more of "there's no place on this planet you could ever hide from the expression of demonic anger." My wife's boss heard a thud of the steak on the window impact and came over quickly. She took in the scene, the steak sitting on the window still, the blood trail, my empty plate, and then gave me a puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like a minute of silence, but it was probably a good 3 or 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was, I'm so sorry, I'm such a klutz. I don't know, I was cutting it and it slipped. Just ask my wife. I really am a klutz, right, honey? No help coming from that direction. I will clean it up. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. Etc., etc. Both women continued to stare at me with the expression from a loony bin as I smeared the blood around the window with my cloth napkin. Dusted off the steak and continued to mutter my incoherent explanation. I knew no one was buying this story. I knew what I had to do. I returned to my seat and proceeded to eat every bite of that disgusting, cold, chewy, bloody raw steak. I remained pretty quiet the rest of the evening. My wife only had 2 words for me since the incident are, "I'm fine." Crazy. Bro threw a steak at the window while he's over at someone else's house. Just ask for it to be cooked more, brother. That's crazy. Yes, it would be an excellent Windex commercial for sure. This has to be out of an episode of Seinfeld. I'm actually crying real tears. Guess everyone thought that was funny. I don't know how anyone in their right mind would just throw a steak in someone else's house. Just say you're sick. Guys, instead of throwing the steak out, just go use Spotter AI.